All right, let's dive in. Today, we're talking about the incredible transformation of Google's parent company, Alphabet. How does a company that's already a giant manage to basically reinvent itself, becoming this AI-powered behemoth and adding hundreds of billions to its value? Well, that's what we're going to break down.
So what's this number all about? $300. That right there was the price for a single share of Alphabet stock in late 2025, an all-time high. It's a number that just screams we're at the top of our game. But that's just where they ended up. The really interesting story is how they got there.
In that journey, well, it's built on a foundation of just massive financial power. $307 billion. That was Alphabet's total revenue all the way back in 2023. So the real question is, how did they take that incredible base and turn it into such explosive growth? It really comes down to a powerful three-part strategy.
Okay, first things first, let's look at the financial engine. Because the numbers here, they tell a heck of a story. We're not just talking about growth. We're talking about some serious momentum across the entire business. This right here really shows you what I mean. You start with that massive $307 billion revenue in 2023. Okay, impressive. But then a year later, their operating income, which is a great way to measure how profitable the core business is, jumps to $112 billion. And then, by 2025, a single piece of the company, YouTube, is pulling in over $10 billion in ad money every single quarter. See, this isn't just one product doing well. It's the whole ecosystem firing on all cylinders. So what do you do with all that financial power? Well, that brings us to the first part of their strategy, and honestly, the number one reason for this explosion: artificial intelligence. Google didn't just decide to compete in the AI race, they basically kicked off a revolution with a technology called Gemini. In late 2025, Google dropped Gemini 3, and it was a genuine game changer. Seriously, this wasn't just another chatbot. This was the new engine, built to power the future of Google's most important products, and it was a direct shot at competitors like OpenAI. It completely changed the game. And this is how they brought it to all of us, through something called the Search Generative Experience, or SGE. To put it simply, instead of just getting that classic list of blue links when you search, Google now gives you a smart, AI-generated summary right at the very top of the page. It's a fundamental shift in how we use a product that's, part of our daily lives. And this just illustrates the difference perfectly. On the left, you've got the Google we all grew up with, a list of links you got to click through and figure out for yourself. But on the right, that's the new reality. A direct answer, a summary put together by AI. This one change was absolutely critical for keeping Google at the very top. But here's the genius part. Google didn't just keep Gemini locked up in its own backyard. The real masterstroke was the partnership with Apple. By getting Gemini built into Siri, Google basically put its AI on hundreds of millions of its competitors' devices. Talk about a massive new distribution channel. Wow. Now, the second piece of the strategy, it wasn't just about super smart AI. It was also about winning with the stuff we actually hold in our hands and the videos we can't stop watching every day. 28%. Just let that sink in. That was the year-over-year sales jump for the Pixel 10 smartphone right after it launched. This thing wasn't just another phone. It was a certified breakout hit. It finally let Google grab a real, meaningful slice of the high-end smartphone market, especially right here in the US. And at the exact same time, they were absolutely dominating our screens with YouTube Shorts. The platform just exploded, hitting over 200 billion daily views. That's a scale that's, well, it's almost impossible to even wrap your head around, and it totally reshaped the world of online video. But here's the real kicker. For years, everybody wondered if you could ever make real money from short-form video. Well, this slide pretty much answers that question, doesn't it? In the US, Shorts actually became more profitable per hour watched than traditional long YouTube videos. They totally cracked the code.
Okay, that brings us to the third part of the strategy, and maybe the most aggressive one. Google went on a historic shopping spree, all designed to do one thing: dominate the cloud.
You can really see things escalating on this timeline. First, they drop over $5 billion on a cybersecurity firm called Mandiant. But that was just the appetizer. On March 11th, 2026, they finalized the biggest acquisition in their entire history, a $32 billion deal for the cloud security company Wiz.
And look, this wasn't just random spending. It was a cold, calculated plan. You can see the logic right here. Step 1, buy Mandiant for their expertise in responding to cyber attacks. Step 2, buy Wiz for their incredible tech that detects threats in the cloud. Step 3, You combine them to create a cybersecurity powerhouse built to completely own the enterprise market.
So, when you put it all together, the dominance in AI, the big wins with consumer hardware, the massive strategic moves in the cloud, you get a really clear picture of how Alphabet pulled off this incredible rise. You could call it their triple threat strategy.
And here it is, broken down nice and simple. First, you've got AI dominance, all powered by Gemini and that new search experience. Second, cloud expansion, fueled by these huge, game-changing acquisitions like Wiz. And third, direct-to-consumer success, driven by that breakout Pixel 10 and the absolute phenomenon that is YouTube Shorts.
You know, any one of these pillars would be a huge business all on its own. But when you put them all together, they create this incredible flywheel of innovation and profit that's just staggering. It solidifies Alphabet as one of the most powerful companies on Earth, which really just leaves us with one big question to think about for the future. Thanks for tuning in.